Hey, Coons, there's an article on sen.com.au which is getting a lot of people clicking. It's the 2023 AFL fan survey. And given the fact that you are a fan now, you're no longer a player, you are obliged to answer these questions. So I've given you a bit of a heads up, and I'd like to ask you these and get your thoughts before Darren Lehman joins us in about 9 minutes' time. Your top 8 for 2024. Have you got it formed in your head?
Can I tell you who I think can make the top 8 and extend it out to about 14?
No, I need 8.
Oh, okay. No particular order.
Okay.
Carlton, GWS, Melbourne, Brisbane, Collingwood, Port Adelaide, Sydney, Gold Coast.
Gold Coast, first final series?
Yeah, well, there's been a lot of hoo-ha about they've got these academy kids coming in now, and Damien Hardwick's there. I think they're cherry ripe. They should be making the finals next year.
Who's the unlucky team there? The Western Bulldogs? Did you pick them?
I had the Dogs out. No, I think Adelaide, Essendon, the Bulldogs, and St Kilda can make the 8 as well.
Yeah, okay. And what about Geelong? No Geelong?
No, I didn't have the Cats in there. Although they still have, a pretty handy forward line. I just a bit worried about their midfield. Yep. Cats, I think it might be a couple of years away.
Coons, I'm not going to ask you to rank them 1 to 8, but I will get you to rank them before Christmas. Let's say that. I want 1 to 8 in order.
Okay.
There's another question. Which AFL team do you dislike the most?
I don't dislike any AFL teams.
No,
when I was playing, I wasn't too fond of Port Adelaide.
Why is that?
Just because I went to play back home in Adelaide, you used to cop a little bit of grief from over the fence. Adelaide was similar, so every time I went back to South Australia, I generally got quite a hostile reception. But then some would yell over the fence, come back and play for us. But the amount of abuse you copped as an opposition player, why would you want to go back there and play?
Which AFL team is your second favourite team? Or what's your first favourite team?
The Dogs are my second favourite team.
Okay, so Essendon's your number 1 team, is it?
Well, equal first because I played for both.
Yeah, right, okay. So who's your third then? Who would be next?
Probably Geelong.
Okay, why?
Given that I live in the area now,
yeah,
and it's hard not to get swept up in Geelong mania down here.
Yep. Even though you don't have them in the 8. Which AFL rookie the AFL rookie list should only be for players under 25, yes or no?
Strongly agree.
Yep.
It's an absolute farce at the moment. Give kids an opportunity.
Yep.
Keep them off the list. Don't just sign up the old blokes to save room on your salary cap.
Putting team bias aside, the best midfielder in the AFL is
Marcus Bontempelli.
Not even a delay.
No.
Who will be the best player in the AFL in 5 years' time?
Jason Horne-Francis will be the best player in the AFL in 5 years' time. Zach Butters will be around the mark, and if we believe the hype about Harley Reid, he'll probably be on the podium.
So Porter going okay with Butters and also Jason Horne-Francis. Putting team bias aside, which I get can be a little bit difficult for you sometimes, Coons, the best key defender in the AFL is?
Best key defender in the AFL is Sam Taylor from the Giants because he is so hard to beat one-on-one and he intercepts really well. The only thing he doesn't do that is elite is kicking.
Putting team bias aside, the best key forward in the AFL is?
Best key forward I've still got is Jezza when fully fit, but Nick Larkey coming with a bullet.
Nick Larkey, amazing
for
a team that finished last on the ladder. Putting team bias aside, which team will be the biggest improver for 2024?
Well, if I've got Gold Coast Suns making the 8, I have to pick them. I think the time is now for the Suns.
Can they win a final, Gold Coast?
Oh, I won't go that far. I think they'll just be wrapped if they come 9th. I think they'll be pretty happy. But if they make the 8, I think they'd be absolutely wrapped under Damien Hardwick in his first year.
I think for Gold Coast, there's a really clear pass and fail line, and that is finals. I think 9th isn't good enough. I think they need to play finals, and it needs to be now.
Yeah, particularly with their key defenders now are rock solid. They've got a pretty handy forward line, and this young midfield is getting to an age now where they should be coming into the peak of their powers. So Anderson, Rao, these guys, if Jared Witts can hold up, then they're a chance.
We're going through the AFL fan survey on sen.com.au. Check it out. It's got some little curly questions. This one for you, Coons. The AFL's opening round concept will be a success. Strongly agree, somewhat agree, neutral, somewhat disagree, or strongly disagree?
agree, only because it's the start of the year, round 0. I think everyone always looks forward to the start of the AFL season, no matter where it's played. And even though 10 teams have got a bye, I think we'll all be excited to see some footy.
What should the bench look like in 2024? So a few options here. The same as this year, which is 4 plus a substitute. Just 4 on the bench. Just 5 on the bench, which is something that we reported a couple of weeks ago the AFL's looking at. Or 5 plus a substitute.
I would like to keep it at 4 on the bench.
No sub.
No sub, but I would be happy to have 5. It does make it harder for rotations. I don't have to organise that, obviously, but it's tougher for the staff and also for the players. It's a heavy rotation if you've got 5 on the bench. Maybe they use that 5th if there is an injury, but 4. Happy with 5. Don't like any vests being used. No,
the biggest issue in the AFL. The biggest issue the AFL must address is one of the following: grassroots footy, country leagues, cost of going to the game, making the game safer to play, and equalisation of teams.
Well, I don't know what the state of the grassroots or country leagues are, but I'm guessing dire if they're
Depends
in
who you speak to, but I think it's pretty dire in some areas. Yeah.
If that's in the options, then it is. I think it's equalisation. I think we need to get to a stage where we have a 20-team competition and we have 19 rounds.
Okay, so 20 teams. So obviously the 19th team is Tassie. Where's your 20th team? This is my question, not the surveys.
Probably NT.
Really? With the weather up there?
I think Darwin deserve a team. They could play a few games in Alice Springs as well. It is tough to play up there. I've played a number of games up there. But I think if you live up there, you get used to the conditions. It'll be a fortress at home. If you're used to those conditions, you're training them, you're playing them, it's really hard for teams to go up there and win. So I think a Darwin team would be really successful. And the people of Northern Territory love their footy too.
If Tasmania is 19... Oh, that's actually the next question. I was skipping ahead. The AFL should push ahead with a national reserves competition ASAP. They should, but no rush. They shouldn't leave the sandful and waffle as it is.
Well, as long as it doesn't affect those second-tier competitions. As long as the SNFL and the waffle and these other competitions are still strong and are able to field enough teams and have enough money coming through, then because I think we need to keep the respect for those lower leagues that have been around for generations. The SNFL is a great competition. I played in it when I was 17, and it was a formidable comp. Like, it was a great standard of footy. You'd hate to see it suffer for a national reserves competition. So as long as it can keep all parties happy, then that's okay. And it depends how much it costs as well. Is it completely necessary? Could the money go somewhere that's better spent?
I do dream of the day where you can go to the footy and you can see 2 games, see the reserves play against the same team and the seniors play against the same team. But I just can't see it happening now. I feel like putting the toothpaste back in the tube is actually quite difficult. How should the AFL tweak the national draft? Now, there's a few options here. No father-son or academy picks in the first round. Remove just the academy picks from the first round. Increase the cost of matching bids. Remove free agency compensation, or it's fine as it is.
Well, I think you can just increase the cost of matching the bids. So if there's a father-son or an academy pick that is going to be in the first 3, then don't make clubs trade picks 44, 45, 67, 70, 84, 90 and 115 just so they can match that bid. Just increase how much it is going to cost, make them pay and get into the 20s or something like that. If you do have to lose your first round pick or at 18 or something like that to do it, but I would be in favour of increasing the cost of matching bids. I'm never going to say scrap the father-son or academy picks because I'm hoping that my young fella can play as a father-son one day. So let's keep that in for as long as we can. Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be good. And maybe your daughter as well. And I'm actually interested when the first daughter-son selection will be. I don't know, we're probably about 15 years away from that at least, I would say. And how many games will the mother have to have played to qualify the son to be playing, or the daughter to be playing AFLW as well? That would be really interesting when that does happen.
Well, I think it should be... I think it should be one.
One game.
I think it should be one game, mother or father. I think if you've represented the club, then your kid should be eligible. 100's a lot of footy to play to qualify for father-son.
Did you play 100 for 2 clubs?
No, I only played 30-odd for the Bombers. So then they would have been shattered if I played another 70, I think.
AFL clubs should be allowed to trade future picks more than just 1 year ahead, like American sport. Yes or no?
Yes. Yeah, I think that I love the gamble of these clubs. You can get yourself into a position where you can win a flag trading your future first-round picks, or you can make a mess of the whole thing. And I love the gamble of it. It can pay off, or it can certainly reap dividends, or it can go the other way and it can leave your club in shambles in 3 or 4 years' time. I like the gamble of it.
So how many years ahead do you think?
3 years ahead.
3 years ahead?
Yep.
Imagine that. Unbelievable.
Imagine how juicy that'd get.
It would be, well, I'd love it as a journo. Last question for you, Coons. Who will win the 2024 AFL Premiership?
Oh, are you kidding?
Go on.
I'll take the easiest option possible, and I'll say Collingwood will go back to back.